गणानां त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणस्पत नः शृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्रयवतो गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् तच्छंयो वृणीमहे गातुं यज्ञाय गातुं यज्ञपतये दैवी स्वस्तिरस्तु नः स्वस्तिर्मानुषेभ्यः ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजम् शन्नो अस्तु द्विपदे शं चतुष्पदे ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सहस्रशीर्षा पुरुषः सहस्राक्षः सहस्रपात् स भूमिं विश्वतो भृत्वा अद्यतिष्ठद्दशाङ्गुलम् पुरुष एवेदकं सर्वं यद्भूतं यच्च भव्यम् उदामृतत्वस्येशानः यदन्नेनातिरोहति एतावानस्य महिमा अतो जायागुश्च पूरुषः पादोऽस्य विश्वाभूतानि कृपादस्यामृतं दिवि कृपाद्भूत्वा उदयपुरुषः पादोऽस्येहापवात् पुनः ततो विश्वं व्यक्रामत् साशनानशने अभि तस्माद् विराडजायत विराजो अधिपूरुषः स जातो अत्यरिच्यत पश्चाद्भूमिमतो पुरः यत्पुरुषेण हविषा देवा यज्ञमतन्वत वसन्तो अस्यासीदाज्यम् ग्रीष्म इद्मः शरद्कविः सप्तास्यासन् परिदयः त्रिसप्तः समिदः कृताः देवाय यज्ञं तन्वाना अबद्धन् पुरुषं पशुं तं यज्ञं बर्हिषि प्रोक्षन् पुरुषं जातमग्रतः तेन देवा यजन्त साध्या ऋषयश्च ये तस्मात् यज्ञात् सर्वभूतः सम्भृतं पृषदाज्यम् पशुगुस्तागुश्चक्रे वायव्यान् आरण्यान् ग्राम्याश्च ये तस्मात् यज्ञात् सर्वभूतः ऋचः सामानि जज्ञिरे छन्दागुंसि जज्ञिरे तस्मात् यजुस्तस्मादजायत तस्मादश्वा अजायन्त ये केचोभयादतः गावो जज्ञिरे तस्मात् तस्मात् जाता अजामयः यत्पुरुषं व्यदधुः कतिदा व्यकल्पयन् मुखं किमस्य कौ बाहु काभूरुपादावुच्येते ब्राह्मणोऽस्य मुखमासीत् बाहुराजन्यः कृतः ऊरू तदस्य यद्वैश्यः पस्यागुं शूद्रो अजायत ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः
Om Sri Sai Ram. Very nice to see all of you and in Sacramento. After 1 full month of disappearing from this place. And so we are studying Purusha Suktam. Purusha Suktam is the hymn from Vedas that describes how the divine consciousness from within us is manifested, expressed, and how that divine consciousness within us is expressed through spirit of sacrifice. How the divine consciousness, which the Christians refer to as the I Am, and which many faiths refer to in their own ways, that divine consciousness is always there within us, just like the current is there everywhere. But if the current is there, it has no value. The current has to be channeled through some instrument to get value. If the current doesn't go through an electric bulb, the current has no value. If the current doesn't go through a washing machine, the current has no value. If the current doesn't go through a fan, it has no value. So how is the current's value expressed? Is through the tool through which it is channeled, is by which the current's value is recognized, isn't it? The current's utility is recognized only when it is channeled through some upadhi, as they call the tool.
It should also be mutual, right, Uncle? If the fan is off...
If the fan is there, current is not there, you can have all the fan like in India, and there is no power, you will know that there is no value of just having a fan. That's also a very good point. So you have to understand it both ways, right? You can have all your AC machine in India, 45 degrees Celsius outside, which is roughly around 100 degrees or more than that Fahrenheit. Fan is there, AC is there, no current. Then what happens? You get fried. So what is happening? So the body is the fan. The eyes are the bulbs. So what God has given to us as faculties, each of them has a utility. But if the current inside is not there, you can have all your eyes, nose, mouth, etc. If there is no current flowing through you, which is in the form of this life force, then what happens? They say, there is no, you are gone, they say. The body can still be there, but they say he is gone. So, how do you ensure that this current is expressing through us? Not simply expressing through us means, there are so many things that are living around. God has given the tools of 3 most important instruments to us. The first instrument or the tool is the body. The second instrument is our mind. And the third instrument is our intellect. Now what this is saying is, you may have this body all your life long, but that body is very simply like an animal body which has absolutely no broader utility for the society around us. How does this manifest into this beautiful aspect of us being of use in sacrifice to the whole society? Is only through sacrifice. Understand? Any questions so far? It's the quintessence of what we have learned in this thing, right? And now where we are at is, how is the divinity now is expressed through your professions of what you do, the karma, and the profession of, those that have realized the divinity, those that are engrossed in Satya, the right, the truth, that's called the Brahmins. Those that are basically completely grounded in right action, that is Dharma, that is Kshatriyas, and that is the aspect of the shoulders. Then those that are involved in ensuring that all the proper material is flowing through the society, and that's the business aspect of it, and that is what is called as the business people. Then those that are called MBAs. MBAs. Swami said, mind and body channeled through Atma is MBA. Otherwise the MBA has no utility. It's not mind and business management. It is actually mind and body connected to Atma, MBA. That is the real MBA. Now, what we are talking about, BMI, is body mass index. Eating a lot of food, body mass index. That is not what it is. BMI is body, mind, intellect. Those are the true tools that are given to us. 3 tools that are given to us. So those that do the context of flow of material through the society, that's the business aspect of it. And then those that are completely engrossed in loving and serving through constantly engaged in action, that is love. That aspect of it is the Shudras described in this particular chant. So love in action is the Shudras, right? Without proper flow of material through the society, there will be chaos and social calamity, and those that bring that peace of mind to people, that is the value of the Vaishyas. The value of protecting the clan and ensuring that there is right action, dharma. Those are the Kshatriyas, and those that are engrossed all the time, grounded in divine consciousness, that everything and all are the aspect of manifestation of the God or the Brahman, are called the Brahmins. Now you see 4 values emanating through the body after the sacrifice of the God. These 4 values is what each of these different clans represent by professions, not because of their birth, but because of what they do. They are referred to as those 4 different clans. In the caste system in Hinduism has gone through a lot of turmoil and criticism, and you all studied through the Gita Vahinis what Swami had said about caste system. The caste system is the most profound aspect of social and economic unity that it is supposed to bring. But the human has exploited it and turned it into a chaos, rather than using it for what it is supposed to represent. So Brahmano Mukhamasit Bahu Rajanyakratah Guru Tadasya Yadvaishyah Padbhyagum Shudro Ajayata. Now those are the external manifestation of the values. Now there is inner manifestation of the values. That's the next mantra that we are going to learn today. Okay, Brahmanosya Mukhamasit, all of you chant. Brahmanosya
Mukhamasi Bahurajanyakritah Uru Tadasya Yadvaishyah Padbyagum Shudro Ajayata
Chandrama Manaso Jataha
Chandrama Manaso Jataha Chandrama Manaso Jataha
Manaso Jataha
Manaso Jataha Manaso Jataha
Chandrama Manaso Jataha
Chandrama Manaso Jataha
जातः
मनसो जातः मनसो जातः
चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
चक्षुः there is a ha there. चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः
चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः
चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च
मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च
मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च
मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च
प्राणाद्वायुरजायत
प्राणाद्वायुरजायत प्राणाद्वायुरजायत
चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः
चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः
चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत
मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च
मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च
प्राणाद्वायुरजायत
प्राणाद्वायुरजायत प्राणाद्वायुरजायत
Okay, chant.
चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च प्राणाद्वायुरजायत चन्द्रमा मनसो जातः चक्षुः सूर्यो अजायत मुखादिन्द्रश्चाग्निश्च प्राणाद्वायुरजायत.
Now you see, this is a very beautiful mantra. Now we talked about from how the different limbs, how the different professions have evolved based on the human values. Now he is saying, just taking just the face part of it, Chandrama manaso jataha, from his mind was born the moon, from his eyes were born the sun, and from his face came Indra and Agni. Now I will ask you questions of who is Indra, who is Agni and all that later. But then from his life force, the breath, came the wind. Pranat Vayurajayata. Now, this is a very important aspect about. So the way, one way to interpret this is, after the resurrection of the Jesus, the Christ, after post-resurrection, then what happened? All these different things came from Jesus, is one interpretation of it. After the sacrifice of the Jesus on the cross. Now the second way of interpreting is, God had a son and the son was sacrificed. After he was sacrificed came all these things. So what happened to God, life before that, Jesus Christ? There was sun, there was moon, there is everything, no? Did they come after his sacrifice? No. They were all there before. But the difference is, what was the difference? I always was telling you the difference. What's the difference? How it applies to each individual after we have lived the life of sacrifice. What you see is everything outside is nothing but the reflection of what you have inside. Everything inside is what you have, the reflection of what you have outside. Inside and outside are completely connected. But what we think is we are different from outside, so we live a life of exploiting the outside, not knowing that you are exploiting yourself. You understand? Every guy that is thinking that I am making money out of somebody else doesn't realize that he is actually killing himself, not somebody outside. You understand? Because what you exploit outside has an effect completely on inside. Once you know that, then what happens? Life is completely different. Life is completely different. Which fool here want to cut himself? Please raise your hand. I already said, I know you won't raise your hand. Because I already said, which fool will cut his own hand? If you know that everything outside of you is nothing but you, how would you treat the outside as? Just simply as yourself. Chandrama manaso jataha. Now you see, there is another important scientific aspect to that. Now, what is that? Tell me.
I was just saying people.
You're saying what? You didn't say anything, you said something. Tell me what you said.
I was just saying people with depression cut their hands, so
Yeah, depression. Yeah, exactly. The mindless people cut themselves. That's called depression. Now, that is suicide. Only people that are depressed will go through harming themselves. Not those that are good, sound mind, they won't do that. So, that is a disease, a problem to be treated. When we come back to Chandrama Manaso Jataha, means what? Our mind is the moon. Chaksho Suryo Ajayata. Our eyes are the sun. How do you understand that practically, scientifically? How do you understand that? How do we know that our mind is the moon? Yeah. You had some idea, but you forgot by the time it came to the mouth, right?
I would sort of connect the brain to the sun, though.
Brain to the sun.
You sort of, your body reflects what your mind thinks.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So let me ask you a question. If I ask you, show me your eyes. Where you little kids you play with, right? Show me the eyes, show me the eyes. They do like this. Show me the nose, like that. Show me the mouth. Show me the mind. Show me the mind. That's head, not the mind. Something inside the head which you don't even know, you can see, that's the mind. Show me the mind, Harish. Show me the mind. Show me your mind. Yeah. So what is mind? Chandrama Manaso Jataha. This is head, the brain, inside. Those are organs. What is mind? What is mind?
Just like the moon reflects the light of the sun.
Exactly. Mind is nothing but a reflection of something. It's an inert body that has no luminescence at all. It derives its luminescence from the sun. So similarly, what's your mind?
What do you see?
What's your mind? It's very simple. It's exactly reflection of what is going on around you. That's your mind. What is your mind? It's very simply everything happening around you. That's your mind. That's why Bhagavan says, the one who you think you are is the body. The one others think who you are is the mind. The one who you really are is the Atma, the spirit. So one who you think you are, who are you? You say, I'm Aditya. Who are you? I'm Shekhar. I'm Surya. I'm Adit. So who are you referring to? The body, which is given a name by your parents. But when you were you born with a name?
No.
No. Somebody gave you that name. Somebody simply chose to call you. If they chose to call you Tom, Dick and Harry, that's what you will be. Right? So somebody gave you some name and now you get carried and attached to that name. Who are you? I am so and so. But is that what you really are? You are not really that. Somebody gave you that name. It is not even your name to begin with. Now coming back to the mind. What is the mind? Imagine if there is everything outside of you is completely still and is not triggering anything within you. Is there a mind? There is no mind. Because all the time what are you thinking? You are always thinking about something outside. You are always thinking about how do I want to look outside? How do I want to behave outside? What do they think if I do that? What do they think if you do this? What did they already thought about you? You are always about, the mind is always about reflection of what is happening outside. You understand? Is that clear? Just like the moon, which is nothing but the reflection of the supreme luminescence. Now the difference is, our mind is a reflection of people outside, but the actual moon is nothing but the reflection of the supreme luminescent sun. When your mind becomes that moon, that is the real moon. You understand why? Yes, go ahead.
I think you just answered my question. I was going to ask, when you say moon, the thought is peacefulness, calmness, whereas mind is right opposite.
Exactly.
The reflection is different.
So what happened now? Chandrama Manaso Jataha means now what this is until the sacrifice and the transformation has occurred, your mind is nothing but a reflection of what is happening outside of you. The people, the process, everything that is striving to drive your life. After the transformation, what happened is, it is a reflection of the divine supreme luminescence inside you, the divine consciousness and the divine being. Understand? What this moon is more powerful actually than the sun. You know why? Because imagine in Phoenix, 115 degrees Fahrenheit, the sun is shining so bright, you can even make a dosa on the back of your car trunk. That is so hot it is. You think that sun is very comfortable? No, it's scorching sun. When the sun is in full brightness and glory and luminescence, then what happens? It's very uncomfortable. Turn the AC on, right? Hello? But is there do you feel the discomfort when the moon is full and completely glory and shineful? You don't feel that. That moon you really enjoy. That moon gives a lot more happiness and peacefulness. When this mind, I'm now showing here, not here. I'm not showing here anymore. I said this mind. When this mind is completely shining the light of the divine sun, the Sai, then what happens? We become the carriers of the luminescence of the divine consciousness to all around us, and then we are instruments of peace and love, and then we become very happy to deal with more than even the sun. Yes?
So I have two comments. So one of them is, like when mind and the connection between mind and moon. Moon is not steady; it's very unsteady.
Yes.
So is the mind. So is that also a connection?
Yeah. No. Yes. Now I'll come to that.
The other one is when Swami says the one others think who you are. So that's a mind. So how does that work? So what is that? I mean, what is the explanation there?
Yeah. So the aspect about the moon. Now there is what he is asking is, there is a commonality between the mind and the moon. Do you have full moon the entire month? How many days in a month you have full moon? 2. Very good, Naren. Huh? Only 1 day in a month. What's happening the rest of the time?
Half moon. It's getting smaller.
Half moon, 1/4 moon, quarter moon, 1/8 moon, no moon. What's happening constantly to the moon?
It's getting smaller and then big.
Bigger. He is waning and he is becoming full, right? Waning and waxing up. Yeah. Okay. Whatever it is, but it is not constant. There is no steadiness of this moon. Now you ask the question, why is the moon waning and waxing? Or whatever, if that word is correct, I am just using because you said it. Huh? Why is the moon becoming low, becoming high? Why? Scientifically.
Light reflects.
Huh?
The sun's reflection is like
The
the
sun.
earth is blocking half the light that the sun reflects.
Exactly. So what's happening? The earth is actually creating a shadow on the moon, or the sun is creating a shadow on the moon, and therefore it appears as if he is waning and waxing, isn't it? Right? Exactly right or no? Yeah. When your body consciousness is obstructing the fullness of the light that is shining through your mind, then that's when you have the same problem. You go up, you go down. Why? Because you're attached to the body. If your body is the earth and your mind is the moon, it's the earth rotation or the earth's reflection that is causing appearing. If your body is the earth, why is the body the earth? There is a scientific reason for that. Why is body the earth?
All the 5 elements are there.
And how much water is there on the earth? How much water is there in the body? Is there something God created all of this? Like He had a same formula He applied. Outer nature, inner nature. Same formula He applied. And then He said, okay, each individual is nothing but a microcosm of the macrocosm. That's what He did. That's why He's saying everybody is the spark of my divinity. And then what He did was He put this little light in everybody. And then what are we doing? We are not letting it shine. Therefore what's happening? The body consciousness is not letting this light within us shine. The mind is not letting this light shine within us completely. But when you remove that body, imagine if there is no earth obstructing the moon, there is always full moon. Imagine the same thing if you have no body consciousness, your mind is full moon all the time. It doesn't wane, it doesn't wax. Yes?
So, does full moon really... how do I say this? So when I say no moon, there is no mind. Isn't that what we really want?
Now he is coming to a very interesting point. See, now what happened was, God also created this interesting thing. For all the Tamilians, no moon is very auspicious. And for the rest of the world, full moon is very auspicious.
I didn't bring it from that
No. But I will tell you why it is also important. Now, you see, this is another interesting thing. When you look at this full moon, some people call full moon is what we desire. Some people say no moon is what we desire. Both are actually the same only.
Depends on your perspective.
It's a pseudo.
I think it's created just to, like there is no concept of good or bad. Everything is the same.
Yeah, exactly. That's what Einstein said when he was a little boy in the class, right? His teacher was asking about cold and heat. Then what did Einstein say? There is really nothing called cold. It's just absence of heat. Isn't it? Absence of heat is cold. And what is absence of light? Darkness. Where there is light, there is no darkness. Darkness is an artifact of not having the light. Isn't it? Similarly, what we're talking about, no moon is no mind, means no thought. Now when there is no thought, you can't experience anything. Hello? What is experience without thought? Zero, zip, nothing. And that's why when I was doing this Shivaratri multi-faith celebration in Miami, we took the entire concept of Shiva consciousness and how it relates to every single faith in the world. How does Shiva consciousness relate to Islam? How does Shiva consciousness relate to Christianity? It was very beautiful. Then what happened? When you look at that little moon on the Shiva, what it is just one thought left to experience the divinity of God. If you don't even have that, nothing, there is nothing you can experience. That nothing is what is called Buddhism. Right? But Buddhists celebrate Buddha Purnima, full moon day. You celebrate now full experience of the divinity of God, or full expression of the divinity of God within us is full moon. Not thought. See how I am distinguishing the two. This is complete thoughtlessness, or having one little bit of mind, and that little bit of mind is enough to experience the greatness and the grandness of the star inside. What is that? Islam. That's why in Islam, the mind is just like a thin line of moon. What is inside the moon in Islam? The star. You need that little bit of mind to see the greatness of God. Otherwise, you can't even experience God. Hello? Are you connecting, following? Yes? Yes. Chandrama Manasojat, if one mantra, if I go like this, then you can imagine what is that. See, what we are talking about is so profound from a human being and from a human existence point of view. Don't look at these Vedas or some mantras that are created. If you understand these mantras, what they really mean in the context of spirit, I will tell you, this is the essence of entire humanity. Not just talking about some religion here. Just the analogy between a mind and the moon. What you see outside with the moon, how it reflects to what is inside you. Completely aligned with each other. Completely concordant. Now, why did they say eyes to the sun?
I think
the light.
In the absence of eyes, everything is dark.
In the absence of?
Eyesight.
Technically, once again, the eye reflects the
No, she's putting it completely reverse way. Let me explain to you.
Then the
So,
eye-
for example, we are all sitting in this room. Okay? If we all don't speak to each other, we only see each other. Right? Now, I know that there are so many people and myself in this room. Now imagine if I completely turn the lights off, it's absolutely dark. We can't even see each other. If we don't have ability to speak, for example, just take that aspect aside. Right? Are we all in the room? Yes. But we can't see each other. If you can't feel, hear, touch, that kind of a thing, the only way you know that something exists outside of you, what is it that is enabling that? Not eyes, the light. Because we are all inside the room, we have eyes. You understand what I am saying? You have the eyes, but if there is no light, having the eyes doesn't mean anything. You understand? So that's why it's called in Aditya Hridayam, Jyotisham Pataye Namaha. Jyoti, the light, is the one that is enabling us, not the eyes. Eye is simply an instrument. The light is the one that is enabling us to see the objects, not the eyes. You understand? I mean, eyes are also important, don't get me wrong. But what I am saying is, you may have full expressed eyes, but there is no light, then what is you need the light to see everything around you. So what is helping you, even if you have good eyes, what is required is the light. Now what happened? This light that we are talking about, Chakshoh Suryo Ajayata, means this light that we are talking about is the light that helps you not only see outside, but to actually see inside. See always inside. S-A-I. Yeah? When they connect to these things, you should see in Toronto, York last week, it was so funny. There were about 80 or 90 SSC kids that were sitting. Every time I was sharing some of these things, they were, oh. It was because their light bulbs are going off, Oh, they were so happy to hear that. And it's so nice to hear that because they're connecting to, yes. Surya Chaksho Suryo Ajayata. Now you see, Mukhat, from the face, came Indra and Agni. Who are these guys all of a sudden? Now, moon we know, sun we know. Who is Indra? Yeah?
Controls the rain.
Huh?
He controls the rain.
He controls the rain. No, the guy who reports to him controls the rain. His name is Varuna. Okay? He's head of the department and he has 8 guys that report to him. He is the CEO. And all the other guys report to him. The guy that gives wind reports to him. The guy that gives water reports to him. The guy that does all evil things report to him. Everybody reports to him. Okay? He's head of the department. Why is he head of the department? Indra means, as I said, action. Indra means the energy to do action. Now you have the instrument to actually get illumined by the divine effulgence, that is the mind, and the ability to see inside and outside. The beautiful vision is to see what is inside is exactly equal to what you see outside. Equanimity of vision, equipoised vision. That vision is the actual vision. Rest of the vision need to be corrected sometime or the other in lifetime. The vision gets multiplied 4 times. Add 2 more. I see you wearing new glasses now. That's why I remember that. So, Mukhat, from the face came Indra. Now, what is the ability to do action associated with the face? And what is the ability to do action? Now, why all of a sudden fire comes into picture? Agni. Mukhadindrascha Agnischa. Energy. The radiance of an individual is actually coming through the face only, no? Nobody looks at their hand and says, oh, that hand is very radiant. They look at the face of somebody and say, that person looks radiant. So where is that radiance coming from? Agni is coming from that face. Everything, the light inside you shines through the eyes, period, and through your face. When it doesn't shine, it is castor oil face. When it doesn't shine, it's completely some face you see. What's wrong, man? You see the negativity in the person right through the face. And you see, if the person walks in, you everybody is like, no radiance, no positivity. If that radiance within you doesn't shine through your face, then you're obstructing expression of even action comes through the face. How does action come through the face? How does action come through the face? Oh, when I was a kid, my mom didn't need to speak. She would just look at me. And just with the look, I know whether I'm doing right or wrong or what is happening. Everything is expressed. The action is expressed through the eyes. I mean, you look at Swami. How Swami doesn't even say anything. But the boys are completely doing all the action is going on around him. How much so that it is incredible to watch Swami. When you're close to Swami and you're watching him in action, you can actually see how everything is, all the actions are expressed through the eyes. All the actions are expressed through the face. If you imagine Swami is just, you're doing a play in front of him. Swami frowns like that. Then what do you do? Stop the play, go. He didn't do any action. He just frowned. Right? Hello? Are you following how the action is expressed with the face? I mean, he'll just nod like that. Just not even full nod of the head. Boys know what to do. Aarti guy comes out immediately. How did this guy? He's not watching clock, he's only watching Swami. Nobody is watching clock, they're just watching Swami. And Swami just does something very subtle. It's so subtle, so incredible. And if you are connected to that, that is the action. Just through the body language you can express action. You don't even need to speak. Why he doesn't need to speak? Why doesn't he need to do anything? Have you understood that? I was asking last week in Toronto, if you are angry with someone, the person is right in front of you, but you shout. Like this morning happened to me. I got very animated. And then I was wondering, why you shout? Because the person is in front of you, you don't need to shout. I'm really mad at you, you know. Do you say that like that? Do you really say like that? Surya, what are you doing? Come and sit down. Surya is right there. Yes, I can hear. Why you are shouting? Surya, even though he's right in front.
With the kids it's different because they cue us out.
No, sometimes the kids also wonder, why are you shouting at me? I'm right here. Tell me softly, no. Harini, can you please come here? No, Harini! Why you do that? Because the person's heart, the person that is shouting at you, their heart went far away from you. And in order for the other heart to hear, you have to yell at the top of the lungs in order for them to hear. So for God, who is in our heart, He doesn't even need to speak. Satyasai is right inside you. God doesn't need to even tell you anything. He is right, your heart, He is within you. He doesn't need to speak. But here is the Maya. The Maya is, we sit here and say, oh, I went there so many months. Swami didn't even look at me. Swami didn't even talk to me. Swami didn't even do this to me, say this to me. Why? You really are not connecting to the Swami who is your heart. You are expecting the outside Swami to talk to you. This is the Maya. That's the drama we need to get out of. Now, Mukhat, Indrascha, Agnischa, Pranat, Vayurajayata. Pranat, his breath became the wind that gave the existence to everybody else. Now, that what is Pranat, Vayurajayata means. Now, I was asking last week question, you take a balloon, you blow it full, and then you put 9 holes. Will it be able to hold the air inside? No. Somebody said, no, 1 hole is enough, you don't need 9 holes. The moment you put the first hole, the air inside and the balloon is gone. This balloon that we have been given, the body is a balloon. Like Swami says, the body is like a water bubble. It can burst anytime. It can go. How it can go? The air can disappear inside it. The air can go anytime. There is no guarantee. But what we are thinking is, this air inside us, we are thinking this is going to remain forever. And we put money in stock market and we think that is going to stay forever. This, we have more confidence in. That, we have more confidence. This we have even more confidence. Oh, I am going to live forever. Who says you are going to live forever? No. And then you are planning, strategizing, how to do this, how to do that, all of that stuff. Then suddenly, one day you get up in the morning, you are gone, no air inside, just escape through one of the holes. To constantly connect to that guy that is breathing through you, seeing through you, hearing through you, loving through you, touching through you, feeling through you. That is nothing to do with this body. Somebody that is enabling that. What this mantra is saying is, when you know that from Him came your mind, the moon, from Him came the ability of us to see both inside and outside. From Him came the ability of this light that is shining through us and the action that is happening through us. And He is the one that is breathing inside and outside. Breathing inside and outside. Chandrama manaso jataha.
Chandrama manaso jataha. Chaksho suryo ajayata. Mukhadindraschagnischa. Pranad vayurajayata.
Nabhya asidantariksham.
Nabhya asidantariksham. Nabhya asidantariksham.
Sirshnaujau samavartatam.
Shishnodhyau samavartatam. Shishnodhyau samavartatam.
Nabhya asidantariksham.
Nabhya asidantariksham. Nabhya asidantariksham.
Sirshnaujau samavartatam.
Shishnodhyau samavartatam. Shishnodhyau samavartatam.
Padbhyam bhumir.
Padbhyam bhumir. Padbhyam bhumir.
Dishashrotrat.
Dishashrotrat. Dishashrotrat.
Padbhyam bhumir dishashrotrat.
Padbhyam bhumir dishashrotrat. Padbhyam bhumir dishashrotrat.
Tatha lokagum akalpayan.
Tata lokagum akalpayan. Tata lokagum akalpayan.
Now when this is now Nabhi, means the navel. And from this navel came the Antariksha. Antariksha means space. From the navel came the space. And from the head came Dyauh. Dyauh means the upper worlds, the other worlds, higher worlds. And from the feet came the earth. And from the ears came the directions. This is how all the worlds have come into existence. World did not come into existence because of Adam and Eve. The genesis of the population, the progeny, is Adam and Eve. But from the God Himself, all the worlds have come. Understand? I don't know what the World Testament actually says, the same or something different. We have no idea. It's about time you refresh. Okay. So, the context of from the divine consciousness came into existence all these things. Now again, what I'm talking about is after the sacrifice, after the resurrection of the Christ consciousness. How are these related to these different aspects of the world? To know that the center of the entire universe is the center of our body. And that center is the navel. It's not the heart. No. You have to understand The difference, I probably went through this exercise with you all before, right? When you ask people, what's the center of your body? What's the center of your body? Surya, wake up, it's about time, wake up. Yeah. You place here, right? Can you get a measuring tape and measure? Come here, stand here. Okay. Now he says his center is here. Is that true? No. Because if I measure from here to here, it's only this one. But if I from here to here, 1, 2, 3, 4. This is 4 times higher than this is only roughly 2 times. How can this be center? Is this center? No. So why did he put his hand here? Why? Why did you put your hand here?
So I was taught in SSC class. In SSC class. No, I'm just saying.
This is the question. Why he put his hand here? But the actual center is right there. This is the center, navel, right? Now if you measure 1, 2, 3, roughly 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Exactly center. Right? I didn't get a measuring table. No, it's 3 only, right? Yeah. 3. He's a perfectionist. Yeah. So this is the center for the entire antariksha. The space, the entire body, that's the center. And from that center actually came the Brahma. In the mythology of the Hindus, from the navel of the Vishnu came the Brahma, the creator. So from the center of the divine consciousness came the ability of the creation, the creator. Why? Because he needed space to create. Hello. And that's why Nabhya Asid Antariksham. You understand? If you do all the creation, you need space to store all the guys, isn't it? And for storing you require space, and that space is called Antariksham. Antaha means inside. Iksham is the opportunity of storing something. But we'll come back and talk about 1 more minute I have. Why did he touch this place for center? Why, Harini? Why you put your hand in it? It's not only kids, adults can also answer.
That's where the operating system is.
That's where the operating system is?
The
pumping system is here.
Fueling system.
Fueling system.
Energy. That's where the energy comes from.
That's from down here.
That's not where energy comes from. Well, excuse me. Energy comes from here after digestion. The whole thing is absorbed and converted to... This is only pumping system. Why do you call pumping system your center? But in fact, pumping system is here, no?
Yeah.
It's right here, yeah. So where is the center? You don't put here, right?
No.
Where do you put?
Here.
Hey, not... Now she changed. She's saying here now. This is the correct center, but this is the different center from this center. This is the center of the body, but this is the center of the universe. Why this is the center? Right? Why this is the center? I was asking Swami this question. Why this is the center? Why this is the center? So, then in this body, the 5 elements of the nature are represented in 5 plexus, 5 different centers of our body. The very bottom of the body is what's called the earth element. Okay? Now I have to translate my mantra into this, otherwise I can't. Okay, Lam, Ram, Vam, Yam. Okay. The next one is the fire element. Next center of the circle. So the body is like this. If you're sitting like this in this posture, where your body touches the earth, that is the earth element. That's the very one. The next one, where is basically around your thighs, that center is the place where there is the fire element. This is where the water element. This is where the wind element. This is where the antariksha. And from what we're talking about, these 5 elements of the nature within our body, which is the element that's right here? I just said wind. Yes. When it comes to earth, there are 5 properties, right? You can touch, you can feel, it has all the 5 attributes, right? Hello, are you connecting to that quickly? I'll go through only 1 more minute. When it comes to the wind, can you see the wind?
No.
Can you hear the wind? Can you feel the wind?
Yes.
Can you taste the wind?
No.
Can you smell the wind? No. It has no smell. It only carries the smell of something else. If you're standing next to a jasmine tree, very beautiful smell you get. If you're standing next to a trash can, very beautiful smell you get. So the wind doesn't have any smell by itself. It is what it carries is the smell. Wind can only be, I said only 2 things you can do with the wind. What is it?
Feel and
You can feel and hear. You can see, you can taste, and you can smell. This center is where the God is. You can hear Him, you can feel Him. You can see, you can smell, you can taste. Hello, understand? So when somebody is asked where is your center, you automatically go here because you know from here you can feel, you can hear, but you can't do anything else. Therefore you got to connect to the God all the time. When you connect to Him, you can feel the God, you can hear the God. But somebody else says, show Him. No, I can't see Him. I can only feel Him. I can only hear Him. Jai Sai Ram. We'll close with Om and 3 Shantis. And I hope you are all, I will keep sending material relevant to study. Right? This is like a study. It is not a class. It is study. We are studying. When you send the bulletin out, just call it study. Not chanting and practice and all. Just call it Veda study. We are studying what the scriptures are saying, how it is relevant to our daily living. That's what we are doing here. And let's make sure that we continue with that aspect of it. Not just simply learning mantras and repeating them like parrots. Oh.